Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking. If it means a lot, you guys keep clicking. If you guys keep clicking, I'll keep making. And today I want to talk about kind of the contrast between my feelings on this season and the Twitter people. Let's just coin them that. Their feelings on this season. Now, as of recent, and really as of recent, I mean, just in my channel's history, in the past 2 years, Survivor has not really been on the uptick. It's been more down trending. It's been doing worse and worse as far as the quality of the show with the big switches to this new era. But 43 for me has been a positive light, a hope that this new era can be different. There's a lack of identity politics. There's a more digestible cast. There's the edit to me is much more focused on characters, but still the gameplay is there, which is super important. It's not a top heavy cast. I feel like everyone kind of has something to offer, but the people on Twitter hate it. They absolutely hate it, and for whatever reason, it's very confusing to me. I did dissect why they personally hate it, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that there's only 4 women left in the game. They want more women and less men. They're mad that there's still, I believe, 7 men left in the game as of this video. They hate that. And so in today's video, we are going to go through a few hilariously stupid tweets and just explain how dumb they are. If you haven't already, like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff, because it's free, it's easy, and it really helps the channel out. Okay, let's get into the tweets. So this one says, I don't blame them for voting out NECA, considering how the challenges were going, but seeing 3 women of color and the only black woman on the cast go in the first 3 tribals is such a bummer. Wait, what? Justine is not black? Are you kidding me right now? What? Okay, first of all, what? Okay, whoa. Back it up. Reverse. First of all, unless I've missed something extremely large, my TV brightness was put all the way up. Justine did not seem black to me, so that does not seem right. And it's again, getting back to this main point of these people watch the show through the lens of how many people of color are left in the game. If there's a lot, I'm happy. If there's not a lot, I'm not happy. How do you think like that? I don't know. To me, it just puzzles me. Maybe I'm missing something gigantic, but to me, it's like, how can you wake up and be like, God darn, there's not enough people of this color on the show? That makes me angry. Like, how does that not scream to you racist? Because to me, that's the textbook definition of racism. Obviously, if you were to switch this and 3 white guys were voted out in the row, they would not care at all, as they shouldn't. But they'll explain this by saying, well, the history is different. Yes, but the history, although important in some cases, is not important in this case. We're playing a game and has nothing to do with race, and the reasons that they were voted out had nothing to do with their race. In fact, they were voted out by, I'm guessing, people who vote just like you, who basically agree with most of what you're saying. People like Dwight, who are kind of calling the show out for voting out women, did it himself. He literally did it himself. It's just so silly to me. The logic just does not connect at all for me. And this isn't just one tweet. Obviously, there's many examples. I'll put a few of them on the screen. It just shows the mob mentality that's being shown. These groups not only want you to agree with them, but are forcing you to and calling you racist if you don't agree with their absolute dumbassery. And it's funny because they show all this love, all this disdain when they see 3 women of color voted out. People of color, they can't leave the game. It just can't happen. But as soon as a person of color disagrees with them, all of a sudden that love is absolutely gone. And it just shows how fake it is. I've seen it firsthand. I was on the front page of Reddit called a KKK member. Yes, a black person called a KKK member. Like, these people will go to the farthest extent just to make you agree with them. They don't want to convince you because they don't have the argument. They just want to bully you into agreeing with them, and it's just simply not going to happen. I will always stand for the truth, and I think these people just simply don't. All right, this next one says, voting out a woman at the first tribal in the name of keeping the tribe strong is not only bad for the dynamics of your own tribe, but it also encourages other tribes to do the same, which leads to women being easier targets. Cause and effect. You caused this effect. #Survivor. Okay, there's one giant problem, because this really looks like a sound argument. And this is how they get you. If you don't look into the argument, if you just say, well, that did kind of sound smart, then you'll miss the small, tiny holes in these people's arguments. Now, this one isn't really the case because it has a giant gaping hole, which is the fact that the entire point of the pre-merge is to keep strength at times. Obviously, your allies are important, but keeping strength is a valid strategy. Huge hole in this person's argument. I don't even know what they were thinking when they typed that. They gotta be embarrassing. I mean, they have a mom and a dad. Like, how are you gonna sit there being that stupid? Come on now. Like, who genuinely types it out and thinks, oh yeah, that makes sense. You know, you can't vote out people but based off strength because that's sexist. What? That makes zero sense. A weak player is always going to have that target on their back. The best female players like Sari, like Wentworth, overcame that target, like Parvati. You know, they overcame the target of being physically weaker and rose to the occasion. And if you can't do that, that's on you. You know, there's always going to be unfair things. Like, for example, at the merge, men are usually the merge boot and early merge boots because of their physical strength. You don't see men complaining. You see men like Jeremy creating new strategies like the meat shield strategy and adapting to their situation. And the last one comes from a very special person in my heart, one of my favorite players of all time. Just kidding, it's Carla. She says, women really working twice as hard for half the credit. Don't get me started on what this means for women of color and queer women of color. She continues saying, and you bring pay into the mix and really see the disparities, but we know that. What are we doing about it, though? Again, just such gaping holes in her. Like, it isn't even like stuff that's small. Like, if you read this and you're like, yeah, well, oh, you got it, great idea, you're just not reading. Okay, firstly, the fact that she points out what this means for an entire demographic of people, meaning women of color or queer women of color. Again, why are you generalizing? This is about players in a game, not about the entire society. People who say that this game is just a microcosm for the world. No, it's not. It's a freaking game. And then she makes the widest leap of logic that I've seen in a while, where she says that because there's pay involved, aka winning $1 million as the prize for winning the game. And again, most seasons in this new era, they've won both of them, but because they're not succeeding as much in this season, there's now a pay gap in Survivor. I don't know what these crazy people are talking about, but I do want to know what you think about this whole situation. If you haven't already, like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff because it's free, it's easy, and really helps the channel out. Also, if you haven't already, join us for our live shows. They happen right after the episodes end on Wednesdays. We have tons of fun there with me, Skylander, and the man who rarely ever posts a YouTube video, The Bitter Juror. And that's what I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.